So, hi everyone. Today I will share about how you can grow further and love yourself more. It is a topic that I love so much. I shares about my story. Before I always tend to just learn on my own. I had read a lot of books and joined a lot of courses, and always think that the only way that I can prove for others that I'm good, I'm able to do things, I'm self-sufficient, in that I can learn things on my own and I can do everything on my own. And if I ask for support, that means I'm not as good as someone else. I think that someone who is good is those who can do everything on their own because they have a lot of resources. But I was so wrong. They actually did ask a lot of support from other people. Only when I can see that I could not grow further as I wish, that I accept that I need the support. But I clearly see that there's a lot of knowledge out there in the world, and if I'm not able to grow further, that means there's some limiting belief within myself. So what kind of limiting belief is that? I don't know. So that's why I need to work with my coach too, to really pinpoint for me what is my pattern of thought and why I'm not able to grow further as I wish. That is the very first thing. If you want to ask for support, is to really accept that you have something that you haven't been able to deal with that and that you need help, and open for new things. Just imagine you are growing a garden with a lot of flowers. If you want to grow your flowers, you need to pluck all the weeds before first, and then right after you pluck all the weeds, you need to plant your seed straight away, your seed, and then a lot of flower will grow from that. But if after you pluck all the seeds and then you just keep thinking, okay, what kind of seeds that I will grow, then the weeds will just come back. The same with your belief and your old pattern of thought. When you realize that you have your limiting belief, you pluck it out, you need to plant the new belief straight away. Otherwise, you will just wasting your time, and then you will just come back to your old limiting beliefs. Because we have been living in that old limiting belief for so long. And if you are just wasting your time and see, okay, I don't want to go back to my old self, but there's like many options that I can choose. Number 1, 2, 3, which one I choose? And then you try to make things logical. Which one is good? And then you waste your time. Time is very precious, and only when you try the new belief, that when you can make the trial and error and see whether that worked for you or not. So I invite you to be really open to the new belief, even though you may don't feel it is right, but you clearly see that you don't want to go back to yourself, and then you open yourself to try just one new thing. And when you open to try, then you will have more clarity when things come later. That a lot of my clients could not accept that, they have the belief, the limiting beliefs within themselves. They have told me that that is the way they are, that is the way they have been living for so long, and that is the way life have been treating them, and they don't want to change. So I ask yourself, if you want things to change for you, and if you want a good relationship, a good environment for work, everything you want, better things, why don't you change? Why don't you change and just sitting there and wishing that things will change for you without you changing? So that is the questions I would like you to ask. Whether you want to put that power to someone else and just sitting there and wait for them to change, or you really want to be the one to really make that change. Any change come from within, and you may feel that, wow, that is a big responsibilities because I need to be responsible for my own change. So yes, life is difficult, And everyone needs to be responsible for their own life. No one. If you wish that you can just live so happily without doing nothing, remember that there is no free lunch. No free lunch at all. If you do not work on yourself, no one will be able to work for yourself. No free lunch at all. You need to work on yourself first. So invite yourself a new belief and work on that, practice that one until you become the master of that. So there's one thing I learned from Tony Robbins, and that is really, really good that I would like to share with everyone. In order to become successful, grow, or anything, you need three things. And it comes from this order. The first thing is the state. The second thing is story, and the third thing is strategy. The state is that anything you do, you need to come from the state of love, peaceful and open, and the mindset that everything is possible, and that everything you want is within you. Everything you're seeking outside is within you. And that is the state that whenever you are like in front of problems, I would like to invite you to invite that state, that beautiful state. That is the state when you in love with someone, that you have the unconditional love with yourself. That is the first thing. That is the state. The state is very important, because if you are in the state of like victim mindset or like blaming others, everything, all the stories and strategy that you do later will not work. So number one is states. Number two is stories. Asking yourself, okay, what is the story that keep holding you for so long? What kind of pattern of thought that you have been keeping for yourself? Whether that you allow everyone to treat you badly, whether you allow yourself not to love you enough, whether you allow others to criticize you, whether you allow your anger to really make you frustrated. So what kind of pattern of thought that keep like playing in your head? In order to understand the pattern of thought, it's so easy. It's just like by observing. You need to observe yourself, the way you do things. You may think that, okay, I have been living like that for so many years. Yes, because since you were small, you were conditioned, you were taught that this would be right, this would be good, and then you follow that for so long. And because you have been experienced some painful things, you just rationalize yourself that you need to do like that in order to have a good outcome. And somehow it is a limiting belief that you don't know. That is the subconscious things that running in your mind. Remember about how you drive a car? Before, you don't know how to drive a car, right? Then you work so hard to use the brake, use the wheel. That the same with your mind. Later, when you are so used of that one, you just drive automatically. So now many of your decisions and many of your behaviors come from the autopilot, because your brain just saved the energy. So I would like you to really pause there and see whether you act from that autopilot or not, and what is the subconscious mind is running under that. Only when you understand that one, that you can see, oh my God, your mind is controlling you. You are controlled by your mind, by the painful experience in the past. And if you have seen that one, ask yourself, what causes have you had because of that mindset? What consequences that you have been suffering because of that mindset? And do you want to keep that mindset further or not? Or you want to get out that? If you want to get out that, that is when the strategy come in. Yes? When you're aware of your stories and you are so ready to get out of that, that is the strategy come in. The strategy is that you need to invite the new belief. What is the new belief? Ask your coach, ask your mentor, ask your friends, ask whoever has been success in that, and follow the guide. That is the only way, the strategy. So like when you work with me as a coach, I will show you my strategy. My strategy is simple: mindfulness, the first things. Mindfulness, you will understand your emotion and your mind, understand your limiting belief and how you act. And yes, and after that is the emotions. When you are able to master your mind and master your emotion, you will be able to master your life. So that is my tools. There's a lot of tools as well. When you're able to see that, you will love yourself so much. You love yourself so much that you do not allow anyone to hurt you, including yourself too. It is very easy to not let others to hurt you, but it's not easy for others, for ourselves to not hurt ourselves. It is like an addiction. You may be very familiar with addiction with drugs and alcohol, and then you may judge themselves why they know that is bad, but they still keep using that. It is the feeling over there. They clearly know that is bad, but there's so many temptations. They could not resist themselves. The same with you when you are in a bad relationship. Why you are keep like letting yourself to be in that relationship, the same type of relationship? Why you letting yourself let others criticize yourself, self-sabotage yourself? It is only you. You are addicted to your pattern of thought, and only when you are able to be mindful and observe that how you can break the patterns. The power is within you. The power to break the pattern is self-love. If you are not able to love yourself, if you are not willing to go through that, you will not be able to love yourself and grow any further and get out that addiction. It's difficult, but you have that power. And if you need help, just join my tribe, yoga, authentic self with yoga. I can guide you further. There's a lot of message over there. And thank you for listening.